Hey there folks, Jett from HSC Communications. You know, with the current situation, a lot of us are working from home and we can't meet face to face with our colleagues, and we find ourselves having to make a lot of videos. So we thought at Communications that we would offer a few pro tips, as it were, some pro tips on best practices for shooting video on your phone and doing things like Zoom conferences. First thing you gotta do is you gotta check your settings. Here on an iPhone, for example, in the camera settings, you'll see we've selected 4K. That's what you want. You want the highest resolution possible if your phone can do it. 60 frames versus 30 frames, don't worry about that too much. It doesn't really matter, but you want that sweet, sweet 4K. Now the next thing, you see I'm shooting this horizontally. I could be doing that vertically, but we're not doing the TikToks here. Obviously, if you're doing the TikToks or the stories or the snap webs or whatever it is, then you want to do that. But otherwise, what you want to do is shoot horizontally and not vertically. If you do have to shoot, place yourself in the frame. I've seen a few videos where it's like, hello, what? I don't know what's happening. I mean, I'm fascinated in the roof here. No, not really. Place yourself within the frame. Always be aware of what's called headroom. You don't want to have too much headroom. Now, when we're shooting, there's a couple of nice tips here. One thing we want is good lighting. We don't want to shoot against a window. As you can see here, this looks very odd. It's not exposing my face correctly. If and then this happens. I can't see. I mean, who wants that? I mean, maybe there's some people you don't want to see, but you get my point here. So what you want is you want to have the light come into your face. So you want to face windows so that you're properly exposed, and you'll look better. Speaking about looking better, it's always kind of nice, maybe if you can, to hold the camera up a little bit higher. Like, ooh, look at that jawline. Sure, it's a little jowly, but if we go down here, oh yeah, nobody wants to see that. They'd rather see this. So always have the camera at least at eye level, or even a little bit higher. And you may notice my eye is darting, so I'm actually looking at myself rather than looking at the camera. So that's something to be cognizant of. Look at the camera rather than like trying to check yourself out and how jolly or not jolly you're getting. Also be aware of speaking up. I'm not using pro mics here. I'm just using the mic on the camera. So it's good to speak up. So don't speak up. I'm just talking. You can't hear me, so speak up. And everything I've said goes for things like Zoom calls as well. You don't want to have too much headroom. So I'm on a laptop right now. I push this. Nobody wants to see that. I don't know what my landlord Troy was thinking. Troy, I don't know with that curly thing. But the fact of the matter is, I'm also from below. So if you can, really find some books, stack your laptop and books, a little less headroom, and you'll come across a little bit better.
Something else to be aware of is sound quality. You may have noticed in the previous shot how echoey it was. Now it's a little bit less echoey because I've switched to wearing these earbuds which have a microphone. So if you do have a microphone or a headset, earbuds, what have you, when you're doing things like Zoom, use them. It's really going to make things better. Also, keep in mind continuity. And that means if you're shooting over a couple days, make sure you have people wear the same outfits. You may notice now I'm wearing red because I'm actually shooting this on a different day, and I wasn't cognizant of continuity. So that's my bad. And of course, always silence your phones. Keep things quiet when you're recording. That way you won't have to do another take. Now, I know all these things sound really simple, and they are, but when you add them all together, it creates a much more professional video. One other thing you can do, here's another pro tip, do cutaways. What are cutaways? These are other shots that you can mix in to cover splices and cuts between different pieces of video. So for instance, right here, I can get shots of my hands, a little bit more, that I can then cut together in hide shots.
Now, if you want to record your Zooms, you can. It's easy enough to do that. You just go here to the record tab and say record on this computer. Keep in mind though, you want to have your settings as good as they can be, just like we would do on the phone. So if you go over to your video here and you select video settings, bam, there we go. You want to make sure your widescreen as high quality as possible. This is going to vary, of course, depending upon the kind of computer you have. So it may look a little bit different, but you want to enable HD. Now, of course, there is the notorious touch of my appearance. I can click on that. Maybe it'll take away some of the wrinkles. Frankly, it doesn't really do that great a job. It kind of looks, it can look a little cheesy, but that's up to you. Some days I appreciate it. You're in your pajamas working from home. Maybe you do want to touch up your appearance. All right, that's it. Just some easy tips on what to do. Remember, not too much headroom. Speak up, reject. You don't want to be backlit because you can't see anything. Thanks for watching. Hang in there. We're all in this together. We'll get through it. Thanks, guys.